Hello everyone. In this video I'm going to talk about the old jQuery library. If you've been working on any website for the last few years, and maybe if you're just thinking about, I don't know, before just this React, Angular, Vue, next.js or any other of these fancy frameworks, there is a big chance that you might have been working with jQuery. So jQuery is one of those libraries that actually saved a lot of time and a lot of effort for engineers who were working as a front-end engineer in the past. They were trying to build something, and I'm talking about the old days of Internet Explorer, and maybe, I don't know, talking about 6-7 years before today's date, which is 2022, end of 2022. So jQuery was a very big player, and in this video today I'm going to talk about if jQuery is dead or not, or should we use jQuery in 2022, 2023 or not. So we're going to go through some interesting stuff that I found on the internet, and we're just really going to think and talk together that what is the state of jQuery as a web developer. So do you need to use it? Is anyone using it? And what is actually happening with jQuery? Is it dead or not? So basically, this is jQuery website, jQuery.com, and if you go there, you actually see there is a version 3.6.1. So I have worked with the version 1 and version 2, but not really with version 3. So still something is happening. It is cross-browser, good, and it is work with the CSS3, so you can use the CSS3 selectors to find element and do something. And also, as they say, it is 30 kilobytes, so it is lightweight footprint, and it comes with other related projects. So we have jQuery UI, jQuery mobile, Sizzle, and then we have QUnit. So if you're going to write test, jQuery UI is going to give you user interfaces, which is interesting. And if you really think about it, in the past, if you wanted to have Ajax call, it would be jQuery would be one of the best that could give you the flexibility to do pretty much anything. So I remember I used jQuery quite a lot, heavily in the past, and the other day I was just thinking, what's happened to this library? And that's why I'm here now. So jQuery, as you can see, it's here. You can just use the very famous dollar as a jQuery and then select whatever element you have and then do something with that selector. So you can change the content of that selector. It could be div, it could be span, it could be button, it could be anything that they can find, and then you can play with it. You can hide it, you can just do the fade in, fade out. There was a lot of things that we could do with jQuery, and they're still the same thing. So if you wanted to send the Ajax call, that would be as easy as doing this. Nowadays with React, Angular, Vue, and other libraries, things are so much different, but in the past, this line of code that I highlight was actually doing the whole job, and it was very interesting, to be honest, and it was making at least my life and probably a lot of people's life much easier. Okay, I'm moving on, and the next thing that I want to talk about is the npmjs website. So you can see that weekly download for jQuery is around 5 million downloads per week. So is it dead? Probably not. As you can see, a lot of people are still using it, and it just really, yes, as easy as including the script and then go ahead and use it. The idea of this video is actually not tutorial or talk about how to use it. It's just about to see what happens to jQuery. And no dependencies, and a lot of libraries are using it, and then if you go to the versions, you can see version 3.6.1 and other versions are being used so much. Version 1.12.4 actually has a lot of downloads for 7 years ago, and 2.2.4, I think this is the latest on version 2 that has this many downloads. Okay, well, that's interesting. In the last 7 days, so a lot of people are using it, as we can see at the moment, and the issues are 75 issues at the moment, and they have 20 pull requests. Moving on, actually, I wanted to look at the GitHub. So the GitHub page for the jQuery, it shows more interesting stuff. So the last commit, so today is actually 30th of November 2022, and it shows that 2 days ago there was a commit here. So means people are still putting a lot of stuff there, and it has 57k stars. A lot of people are actually still using it, and we can see there was a bunch of things that never been touched, well, 7 years ago, 3 years ago, 9 years ago, but then at the same time we have some other codes that has been touched, for example 2 days ago in the source directory. If you go to the source directory again, so we have 2 days, 3 years, 10 months, last month. Okay, well, what I can see at the moment, it actually shows that this project is live and people are still using it. So based on these things, and if you go to issues, we have 75 issues, and then we also have 20 open pull requests, which is going to update or fixing some bugs. If you want to compare jQuery with React, so React has around 16.7 or 16.8 millions download per week. jQuery has almost 5. Going with the Angular has 3 millions, Vue has 12 millions, and next.js has 3 millions. So putting all of these things on a paper, I mean, you can see apart from the React and maybe Vue, jQuery has more download than Angular and next.js. Doesn't mean everyone is using it or modern websites are using it. That's not what I mean. All I'm just caring about is how much or how many downloads do we have for jQuery, and is anyone still using it? Apparently, yes, a lot of people are still using it. The other thing that I want to show quickly is the NPM trend. So with the NPM trend, we are just looking at Angular, jQuery, React, and Vue. Obviously, the blue one is Angular. jQuery is this one, I think, the orange one, as we can see here. And let me just quickly zoom in a little bit. So it has quite a lot of download. So it's very interesting. You can see the only one on top is React, and everyone else is less. I'm looking at the download in the last 1 year. If you just change it to 5 years, again, jQuery is the orange one, and still, to be honest, it has gained some traffic. It's very interesting for me why people are still using it. Maybe they have some legacy applications and websites and they're not really bothered to update or change, or maybe it's very costly to change. But if you just change it to, for example, 6 months, still jQuery is on top of Angular and Vue for some strange reasons. And again, we are looking at the libraries in npm, and we can see how many stars they have. jQuery has 56, Angular has 59, React 198,000, and Vue 33. And with the issues, well, jQuery has the least issue, so it's a good thing actually. It's gonna win. And with the version, it has been some update. It has some update. Maybe with the Angular we are missing something. Maybe I should look for Angular core. Maybe that's the one. Actually, let me quickly check. Maybe that's what we need to check. With the Angular core, actually, we are getting a little bit of extra download to compare with Angular. So, but still, jQuery now is the green one, and it still is on top of all others except React. But you get the idea. So the issues, jQuery has the least issue, so it's interesting. It has been updated 3 months ago. So to compare with React, and for example, Vue was updated, is the most recent one, Actually, Angular core has something happened in the last 9 minutes. So it's interesting. And also you can see when was it created. So with jQuery, it was 12 years ago. It's quite, well, it's the eldest one here. And in terms of the minimized just zip or gzip size, as you can see, it has like quite small size. So it's 30 to compare with Vue, which is 33, and Angular is 62, Angular core is 77, and for some reason React is 2.5, which I'm not sure if it's actually correct or not. But we're not comparing actually the size, we're just talking about jQuery and if it is being used or not. Okay, I'll move on to the next tab I have. The other source that I was looking at was looking at Stack Overflow. If you've been working as a web developer for a while, you know that whenever you were looking for a question on Stack Overflow, there was a big chance that the answer was in jQuery. So you were asking a question in JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, but the answer they were giving to you, and it was marked as a solution, the green tick, then there was a big chance that that answer was with jQuery. That's why I was just really looking for this tag. So I'm looking for a tag with jQuery. Let me just quickly refresh, and you can see, for example, there was a question asked 28 minutes ago, 59 minutes ago, 1 hour ago. So what does it mean? It means actually people are still using jQuery, and they're still having asking a lot of questions. And maybe they put some wrong tag sometimes, but as you can see, for example, these questions on the title, you can see pretty much they are talking about jQuery. So I don't think, based on the current things I see so far, pages and this conversation we are having together, obviously, jQuery is dead. But let's move on and let's not stop here. I think, based on my research, one of the key consumers, or one of the websites that is using jQuery is WordPress. And by looking at, for example, on the source code, so page source, and then if I zoom in a little bit and then search for jQuery, you can see, I mean, like, okay, WordPress is using it. So if WordPress is using it, then it means there is a big chunk of internet is still using jQuery. Okay, I just will move on. And then I was looking at the stackshare.io to see who is using jQuery. I don't know how much we can trust this website because I have not used it, but it's just saying there is, like, for example, part of Uber, Twitter, Udemy, Slack, Reddit, LinkedIn, and blah blah blah. They are using jQuery. What it means is, actually, it doesn't mean like the shiny websites that you see it's using jQuery. They might have some applications behind the scene for the for the internal use, and they're using, for example, jQuery with that website, and there is no priority and they don't really get any update, which is the case for many businesses. They have a lot of legacy applications and it works, and they don't want to update it for a lot of reasons, because it's very costly, it requires a lot of energy and time, and then it might break for whatever reason, and the moment it will get to that stable mode, it will be quite some time. That's why you can see a lot of big names here. And I think that's why they are still using, for example, jQuery. So that's also interesting, Stackshare. And then the next thing that I want to talk about, so if you go to w3schools.com, you can still see jQuery as list of learning or tutorials in their website. I'm not saying this is it just shows that, I'm not saying this is like a source, but I'm saying this is one of the websites that a lot of people and software engineers go there to learn something about, a language or library. And as you can see, jQuery is here, means a lot of people are using it. And then I'll go to the build with. So build with, as you know, It has also browser extensions. So if you use Chrome, you can just look for the extensions and download it. And when you go to any website, it will tell you what technology they're using for this website. And as you can see, for example, here, looking at jQuery usage statistics, a lot of people are using jQuery. So it is very interesting for me. So top 1 million, this red one, top 100K and top 10K websites are using jQuery. And you can see, for example, in British Life sites, I assume it means United Kingdom, and then it's using, for example, a lot of websites are using jQuery. And apparently, at the moment, based on what I see, it's 154 million and something websites are using jQuery. It's a lot of websites, 154 millions. So if you just look at here and look at the basically ranking, well, is it ranking? Probably yes, it is ranking. A lot of other countries are also using this jQuery. In the United States, we have 7.5 million websites, Germany, and then Russia, United Kingdom, etc., etc. You can see a lot of countries. Well, it's based on a country, but what we actually see is that a lot of websites are still using jQuery, so it's there. And the next thing is I want to talk about is w3techs.com. If you look for technologies, details, JS, jQuery, you can see the usage statistics and market share for jQuery for websites. Obviously, as they actually said in their website, version 1 and version 2 is not being maintained. There is no patch, so they are recommending everyone to use version 3. And you can see the market the version 3 shares to compare with version 1 and version 2 is quite high. So 60% of people are using version 3. Version 1 still is more than version 2. That's very strange, but people are using it. And also the other sentence that you can see, I don't know how much I can trust this one, because I see like different numbers for PHP as well in this website. But long story short, jQuery is used by 94% of all websites whose JavaScript library we know. This is 77% of all websites. So assuming these W3 Techs knows about 77% of all websites and the internet, out of that 77%, 95% are using jQuery somehow. Maybe a very small piece of the website, or just even one page is using the jQuery, or maybe all of it, I don't know, but you can see a lot of websites are using it. So if you scroll down, you can see, for example, what's happened. Maybe we should also talk about Bootstrap someday as well, because that's not the case anymore. So, and again, moving on, we can see Baidu, Yahoo, and Microsoft, probably a lot of these big websites somehow use jQuery somewhere. Maybe like if you go to the landing page, you don't see it, but somewhere in their websites, they are going to use it, because their website is not only like when you go to a very big website, every page or every part of a page could be a team or like a service which is going to be responsible, or micro frontend which is going to be responsible about that bit. So that's why, for example, some of it could be written in React, some could be written in different or vanilla JS, or like maybe some are using jQuery. Okay, I will move on. And then the next thing is, actually I was looking at State of JS. So as you know or may not know, State of JS is one of the biggest survey happened for JavaScript engineers, and like those who write JavaScript or who are interested in JavaScript. They go and every year talk about the technologies. Well, they do the survey, and then you're gonna find out like who is what percent of people are using what technology in JavaScript world, because as you know, JavaScript is so massive that a lot of time it's very difficult to keep up. Maybe this bit, stateofjs.com, is one of those places that you can find out about, for example, what is trend, what is people using. And if you go, for example, to the other tools here, you can see people are using jQuery. I'm talking about 2021. So if you go to stateofjs.com, you can see the result for all the previous years. But if you look at here now, we have a lot of people still using, like 11% are using regularly. So you can just read this. They're using jQuery. So jQuery is still happening. And then if you go, for example, to the 2020, and jQuery is still here. So they are using it. And then if you go, for example, to 2019, we still have jQuery. So jQuery is just really a little bit playing with the ranking, but it is still there. What I am actually getting out of all of these things, which was very interesting for me, is that yes, maybe in some modern website you don't have to, or maybe it's not really recommended to use jQuery, depends on the use case, but there are still a lot of websites, front-end engineers, that either they're working with a legacy application that there is jQuery and there is no budget to really move to the other technologies like React, Vue, Angular, or others. But as of these numbers and as of December 2022, you can see jQuery is alive and is actually moving very strong. And because you can see a lot of people are still downloading it, some people are using it, but I am not suggesting that people should use it or should not use it. That's totally a different conversation, because I think there are some use cases that jQuery could still help if you just need to do some stuff. But you can see now here that jQuery is still used, maintained. The GitHub repository shows that still people are using it. They're just fixing bugs and adding a lot of things. But long story short, jQuery is not dead. So here we are at the end of the video, and if you enjoy this kind of videos, please don't forget to like, share, or subscribe to the channel, and then I'm gonna put more videos. Stay tuned and I'll see you next time. Thank you.